welcome to the family here on Purple Mafia. I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Purple Mafia is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps. I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to the show. It's a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today, as, so be it. It's been another season already, another one and done. The Minnesota Vikings have to go to Arizona instead of in it's a State Farm Stadium instead of in SoFi because of the fires in California that have spread into LA, and God help us that'll improve. Obviously, terrible mismanagement by leadership over there in California, but obviously, again, more importantly, you hope everyone is okay at the end of the day. Huge shame and sad of what's going on there. So obviously, you head to Arizona, you think it's some kind of a semi-advantage, I guess, but it's still the Rams, It's still the Rams' home game. And, well, they had plenty of fans there. The Vikings had plenty of fans there. Maybe not enough, obviously, but at the end of the day, it's who's playing better at the time. And let me tell you, it wasn't even close who was playing better in this football game. The Los Angeles Rams knocked the Vikings out 27-9, and a 14-3 season goes up in smoke just like that. Yep, here we are again, another one and done, and Kevin O'Connell is now 0-2 in the postseason, 0-2, so that's really disappointing. 13-win season, lost to the New York Giants in US Bank Stadium. 14-3 season, it was a 13-4 in 2022, 13-4, or 14-3 this year, and then lose to the Rams, who a lot of people thought were an inferior team, even though it ended up being a road game, kind of, sort of. Well, it wasn't in US Bank Stadium, and Vikings didn't exactly win against the Giants, who have been putrid the last 2 years, ever since that playoff game. And heck, the starting quarterback for that team is the Vikings' second or third quarterback right now. As for all of that, yeah, it's been disappointing. Was the team prepared to play in this game? I don't think so. Was Kevin O'Connell outcoached? I do think so, yes. And it's disappointing. You'd like to believe the protege can go up against the quote-unquote teacher, so to speak, even though the protege is slightly older than the teacher. Like, Kevin O'Connell's a little bit older than Sean McVay. Like, do you realize how young McVay was when he started coaching the LA Rams years ago? It's pretty crazy. He was like 32. I mean, the guy's still not even 40. You realize how crazy that is? But at the end of the day, it is pretty wild. Matthew Stafford has been a thorn in the Vikings side pretty much forever. His whole career with Detroit, we'd beat him sometimes, especially when Matt Patricia was the coach of the Lions. But for the most part, I thought Stafford, was a headache for the Vikings forever. Obviously, he's a very good quarterback. He's incredibly smart. He gets away with a lot of crap, including a play that should have at minimum been intentional grounding, if not a fumble. It sure looked like a fumble. Even Stephen A. Smith of ESPN, of course, with his screaming, "Sam Darnold is not the quarterback." I don't know. He should not be the quarterback. Okay, I'm just kidding. But yeah, even Stephen A. Smith agreed that was a horrible call, horrible missed call, and the Vikings should have had a touchdown there in the scoop and score by Blake Cashman. Unfortunately, that was completely negated. It was just called an incomplete pass, not even intentional grounding. And then next thing you know, the Rams just continued to do what they're doing, powering through the Vikings. They utilized the running game. Stafford, again, incredibly smart player, incredibly smart quarterback. And, of course, when Sam Darnold fumbles, that one, and there was a scoop and score for Jared Verse. Okay, that one wasn't that one didn't go back the other direction. But why would that happen, right? Why would that happen? Man, I just heard some weird sound. Sorry, that was very strange. I don't know. Maybe I'm going crazy here. And, yes, I am a bit battered, unfortunately. Luckily, I'm not on video. I can see I can see totally fine. Last night, I was kind of funky in my left eye. I apparently have pink eye. A combination of sore throat, a slight congestion in the nose, kind of like runny-ish nose, and like watery eyes. But the left eye's definitely been going through some HE double hockey sticks the last, pretty much starting like midway through the day yesterday. It's like, what the heck is going on? So it's weird. And then the right eye this morning started turning red a little bit, but thankfully I was able to purchase some eye drops last night around 10-something. Thankfully there's some Walgreens open after 10 p.m., so I could go and get it just to kind of cry my eyes out as the Vikings were, doing what they're doing. I know I'm not really crying, just annoyed, disappointing. And boy, it stuck sitting there with a eye that was dripping nastiness, like mucus and such. So sorry to get into some of those details you don't need to hear necessarily. It's just, yeah, I'm just telling you my situation. But I was seeing rainbows. You know how, when your eyes are cloudy, you can see rainbows like in the light. So it's pretty annoying. I don't see any of that now, so thank God for that. Anyhow, let's keep going. Just telling you my situation, and my voice sounds a little funky. It's I don't know. Pray for me a little bit if you could. That would be appreciated. We will get a call in from Mad Martin. For some reason, the email said Mark Martin, but it is Mad Martin. It is Dave Martin, and we appreciate hearing from Dave Martin out of Northern Scotland. That's going to be awesome. I think he's going to have a lot to say, I'm sure. So, and I'll have some things to say as well. Of course, the first segment is going to be this right here, reviewing the game. The second segment is going to be looking around the NFL with the other postseason games. Third segment is going to be you guys, as Glenn Mason, the former Gopher coach, would say, you guys. Anyhow, this is another one of those games where the Vikings just simply didn't show up to play. They just didn't. The offensive line, especially the guards in the center, terrible again. And then O'Neal goes out with a concussion possibility. So, yeah, concussion protocol, that type of thing. That's what they call it. So extremely depressing there. Just kind of figures. Obviously, we had no Darisaw ever since the last time we played the LA Rams. And how ironic that the Vikings, if the Vikings didn't play Detroit or LA this year in the regular season or the postseason, we'd be undefeated and world champions, I guess. Well, I don't know, but you know what I mean? At least they'd be undefeated other than these games. Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? The first two games, we had the excuse of, hey, we didn't have Blake Cashman. We're undefeated without we're undefeated with Blake Cashman. And then we ended up losing to Detroit again and losing to the LA Rams again. And Sam Darnold is not big enough for the situation, or what do they call it? You know, they say the situation is not too big for Sam Darnold or whatever quarterback, like Joe Burrow. The moment's not too big for Joe Burrow. You know, he went out there and got it done. Rookie Tom Brady, you know, whatever you want to say about the St. Louis Rams Super Bowl. They're the same franchise, but in St. Louis for a few years there, about 20 years, before moving back to L.A., which is doesn't happen very often, once in a blue moon. Heck, I guess the Chargers moved back to L.A. after being there for a couple seconds, then moving to San Diego for 50 years, and back to Los Angeles. There I go down other rabbit holes again. But Sam Darnold, yeah, totally just, I don't know. He couldn't hit the broadside of a barn last week versus Detroit. The moment was too big for Sam Darnold, especially in Detroit. It felt like a guy who'd gone from, just playing backyard football to, here you go, Super Bowl, get him, go get him. You were awesome in that backyard. Now let's see what you can do. And you'd be nervous as blankety blank. You'd be scared. Millions of people watching. Oh, my God. Yeah, you'd be nervous as all heck. That's what it looked like. Sam Darnold was some backyard quarterback out there, wearing his Wrangler jeans. Brett Favre, right? I'm just teasing. Wearing his Wranglers out there playing. Yeah, Brett Favre wearing Wranglers, sure. But you get the idea, the ads anyway. Yeah, and just let's do that. Let's go out there and let's have some fun. And then next thing you know, it's the Super Bowl versus the backyard, and it's scary as all heck. That's what it felt like. And then, again, it was fish out of water. Sam Darnold missed on a lot of plays. The offensive line protection was putrid beyond belief. Did not help with the concussion protocol with Brian O'Neal. A lot of people are saying that what should happen, Bradbury, Brandel, and what's the guy's name? Reisner should all be, it's okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your service. And we're moving in another directione. And the Vikings should do that. Mr. Gerald String, I'm still waiting for that call one of these days for you to say, did I mention we need some guards? Even just sending a bite, like a sound bite to my email, paladinolive@yahoo.com. Did I mention we need some guards? That's still my favorite. That could be a soundbite forever. Maybe you don't want to. And obviously, Gerald's a busy guy. Yes, he is. So does some important work out there with the horticulture world. Great job, obviously. Now in South Dakota, that's where he's originally from, was in Nebraska for several years, and then back to South Dakota. So, anyhow, back to the Vikings and Rams game. Just denying the inevitable or delaying the inevitable. Darnold also threw a terrible interception, you could say. Cam Akers limped off the field. Not sure how serious that was. Haven't heard too much info on that. Simply click on his name, but I mean, I don't know. I thought he played pretty well down the stretch. He wound up with 404 yards on the season, 2 touchdowns. I mean, obviously not sexy numbers. Some of them were with Houston, but both of his rushing touchdowns were with Minnesota. Too bad he couldn't have run that huge 58-yard scamper last week into the end zone. I thought Akers played well against his former club. 5 rushes, 39 yards. Darnold had one pretty impressive play, but of course a fumble that led to a scoop and score. I used to call it fumble sticks, but it's called scoop and score. T.J. Hawkinson, you know how long it took him to get in the end zone? The entire season. Yeah, that's how pathetic that is. And when did the Vikings get in the end zone? Well, with 5 minutes and 14 seconds remaining in the third quarter, trailing 27-3. Yeah, well, it's 27-9. Hey, come on now. It's not over yet. Got plenty of time left. Well, like the title of last week's episode, so much for that. Yeah, crickets. Nobody scored. Again, that was the final score, 27-9. Oh, it's not funny. No, it's not. Joshua Carty. I got a kick out of that because I used to know a guy named Joshua Harty. He just changed the K to an H. I could imagine him being a kicker, but he was more of a quarterback type, but I don't know if he's tall enough to be a quarterback at like any type of a higher level. He was below 6 foot, so it's pretty rare. It happens, but it's rare. Doug Flutie, eat your heart out. But yeah, kickers, of course. And I remember Josh being a pretty good soccer player, so yeah. He's actually from Cuba. So, from Cuba. Stafford. Oh, Stafford, man. I hate you, Matthew Stafford. I hate you, but I respect you. I hate you, but I respect you. All those years of Detroit kicking our butts, scampering for those first downs. Yeah, I mean, the mobility's not there anymore because he's, ancient history, but still a smart son of a blank. He really is. 27 attempts, 209 yards, 19 completions, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Should have been a fumble, scoop and score or whatever, but it didn't happen. A touchdown to Kyren Williams, who ran through the Vikings on multiple occasions, a 17-yard long. Felt like he had about 12 of those, but, well, he probably did have a bunch of double-digit ones, or close to it, like 8 yards. That could just be mind-numbing at times. And those time after time after time after time after time after, the song by... why am I blanking? The famous 80s singer, girls just want to have fun. Her other song, Time After Time. 23-yard long for Higbee. 27-yard long for Puka Nakua. 29-yard long for Cooper Kupp. 23-yard long for Demarcus Robinson. Get the picture? So it was just chunk play after chunk play after chunk play. Stafford just burning this Vikings defense over and over. And you know what's the sad part? We held the Rams to 27 points. You don't think if this offense actually showed up to bleep and play that we might have been able to win this one 30-27, 28-27. Simply 28-27. That's all you need. Sure, if they actually showed up to play, but they didn't. Sam Darnold, I'll keep saying, looks like maybe like when I first got my cat or whatever, and she got in the house. He's kind of scared, Or you took her, or no, she'd been living in our house forever, and you take her to somebody else's house, she'd curl up like in the little ball that cats do, when they sit on a couch or whatever, or kind of lay on the couch, but it looks like they're kind of sitting more than laying. You know how they're like in a ball, you don't see their feet, and she wouldn't move. That's kind of what it felt like with Darnold, just terrified, fish out of water, one terminology after another. Yeah, like Chloe would be terrified by an old, long-lost cat, obviously long gone but not forgotten type of deal. That's what it kind of felt like. It's like once the lights shone brighter, that was it. Which again tells me, he was what was it? They were talking about the market value for Sam Darnold. That would be Stephen A. Smith, who goes a little crazy. Part of it's an act, we all know that. And other people around him, it's an act as well. They're all acting, even though they believe their takes for the most part, but they're acting, They're overacting on purpose for entertainment, I guess. Anyway, I'm losing my train of thought here because I go into too many rabbit holes. But yes, the market value. That's, thank God I didn't have to even, think too much there. What was it going to be, 54 a year? 54 million, a year for Sam Darnold, and it dropped to $40 million a year because of this game. That's how his market value dropped. You'd seriously give him $40 million a year? If you did, I think you're making a mistake. Now, if another franchise does, and they believe they have something, they believe they can shake the jitters out of Sam Darnold, so be it. But when you have J.J. McCarthy, who has been in the limelight, has won a national championship with one of the most famous colleges in the history of college football, the Michigan Wolverines. Who quarterbacked the Wolverines many years ago? Tom Brady. Yeah, the best quarterback of all time, the greatest of all time. Yes. I'm going to continue to maintain that. But yes, J.J. McCarthy has done it, and he can do it. I think he's going to approach the NFL with that winner's attitude. I think he's going to bring that winner's attitude to the Vikings. You could see it early, and then the doggone meniscus happened after one bleeping preseason game. But like all the indicators were that McCarthy has an it factor. Darnold had something in the regular season. Like he's the Dennis Green of coaches. There you go, with another take. This is where I go crazy. The Dennis Green of quarterbacks. Great regular season, and then here come the playoffs, and you lose to the Washington Redskins, which is what they were called then. So I'm not trying to be offensive if you really think it is. Which is actually face paint. It's not their skin color, by the way. That's what the name means, is the face paint. Yeah, look it up. Anyhow, but the Redskins at the time in '92, when I first started watching the Vikings full time, Vikings heavily favored. Yes, the Commanders, fine, were favored. Or no, we're not favored. They were the defending champions, and they'd won the Super Bowl in the Metrodome just the year before. But they were only 9-7. They weren't even close to the same team. And it was 7-0 Minnesota. I believe we had a defensive touchdown or one of those type of deals. It's so long ago, I barely remember. I think I was actually semi-late to the game. It was a real early touchdown by the Vikings, and that was it. Final score, 24-7. Yep. Very disappointing. 11-5 team that forced turnovers, intercept, pick sixes, all that great stuff. Rich Gannon was pretty good, I thought, but then they made the change to Sean Salisbury, which Rich Gannon to this day says, I didn't understand that. Like, it was weird. I didn't either. Salisbury was a mediocre quarterback. You're not going to win a Super Bowl with Sean Salisbury. Rich Gannon, well, he won an NFL MVP years later. Obviously, there was something there. So, I mean, I saw something. I mean, you could tell there was something there. Maybe not MVP level, but something. Salisbury, there wasn't. It's like Nick Mullins at best, like turnovers and stuff. Mistakes, weird plays. That was Sean Salisbury. Darnold, kind of, I don't know. Just someone who right now I don't think can handle the limelight. And he's not getting younger. He's 27. I mean, he's not 21. He's 27. So that's kind of disappointing to see, no doubt. Very disappointing. And obviously, I thought the defense was generally okay. The Rams' offense is good. The and the Rams' defense is real good, too. A lot of times you might think, the Rams' defense isn't the same anymore because Aaron Donald's no longer there. Yeah, but this is still good. It's like, you thought, okay, we'll be fine now. No more Aaron Donald, and then they sack him 9 bleeping times for, 82 yards? They sacked Sam Darnold 9 times. And that's the other take here we can come in with. The other take, yep. Get rid of the stupid ball, Sam. Get rid of the stupid ball. Like, do you not know how to do a damn throwaway? Like, like a throwaway, like throwing it too high in an area that would kind of go out of bounds where there's no risk of an interception? Why can't you just do that? Why can't you? Why? Why does it have to be a sack? And it's always like 15 yards, 17 yards, 12 yards. Why? It's like the whole bleeping series is over because of that stuff. Whether it's the first down, whether it's a first down play where it's now it's 2nd and 27 or 22, or it's just horse crap. Come on, man. Like you're bleeped. You're done for. You're like an airplane with no fuel, and you're in the middle of the sky, floating over the ocean, and you just ran out of gas. Now what? Nothing. You're done. That's what it seemed like. It's just, stop it. Ugh. And obviously, yes, the Sam Darnold fumble was a fumble. Like, you could tell that a mile away, but I think most people could tell that most people would agree, not everyone, but most people will agree that the Stafford play should have been a scoop and score for Cashman. He also had a sack, 11 total tackles. Ivan Pace Jr., 10 total tackles. Pretty good. pretty good. It should be a defensive player, definitely, who's going to get the Fran Tarkington Award for this episode, if they even deserve one. But a defensive player does. Come on. They kept the Vikings in the game. Heck, the Vikings keeping Detroit to 31 is actually incredibly impressive. And, Will Reichert made his 34-yarder. He made the one kick he had to. The one kick he had. And he didn't even attempt an extra point because we were going for 2, and we botched that as well. Surprise. Huge shocker. Ty Chandler had a massive return, 29-yard deal. So, no, 38-yard return, excuse me. That was great. So, really appreciate that. Where else? Yep, we tried to, the attempt was to Justin Jefferson, by the way, but I don't know. I thought there were some calls in the game that definitely did not go the Vikings' way, but there were a lot of penalties on the Rams as well. Didn't they have like over 8 penalties, and they're the least penalized team in the league? So, I don't know. They were calling a lot of stuff in the game, whether it's holding or whatever. There probably should have been more PIs called. I mean, the Vikings never get those, it seems like, anymore. Like Detroit, it's just like it happened like once, I think, in the whole game. I don't know. They were playing kind of a semi-cheap style, but if they were getting away with it, I guess that's how it goes. I guess that's the NFL. You know, like you could have probably called holding or pass interference on the final play of the game to, was it a pass to Randy Moss where, that quarterback who will not be named on this show anymore attempted to possibly win the Super Bowl for the 49ers over Baltimore, and there was no call. Yeah, there could have been calls all over the place that just sometimes aren't made, whether you agree or not. So that kind of sucks. Fran Tarkington Award winner for this episode is probably going to be the guy that was missing last time we played the Rams, and we were, we were upset about it because the Vikings couldn't tackle anybody. It was ridiculous. Blake Cashman's going to get the Fran Tarkington Award for this episode. Does he deserve it? Probably. I mean, he would have, yeah. I mean, he had us in the end zone. He had us in there. And it's not just that, but also the sack and the 11 total tackles. Very good game. Stephon Gilmore missed on a bunch. He missed on multiple tackles that were just killer. Jonathan Grenard jumped. That was bull crap. It was so sick. It was so sick. On a was it a third down or fourth down? But it was a short play. And there's going to be a hard count. Maybe they'll just let it go. They'll call a timeout, whatever. But yeah, there's going to be a hard count regardless of the situation. The guy jumps. It's just, of course he did, and of course it's not a false start. It's a encroachment, whatever the hell they call it, offsides. So definitely heartbreaking to say the least. Oh man, awful game. But I don't know. Seems like the Rams and Detroit are just tough son of a gun matchups, and this team is not up to the challenge for some bleeping reason. It's like where you get these gaudy records and you get into the postseason, and then you're fishing. Well, if you travel south of here, you ain't gonna be or you're ice fishing if you're here because it's 8 below right now. It actually is. At least it was. Yep, still says 8 below. Has it? And it feels like 24 below. Now it's 6 below, and it feels like 23 below. Okay. Massive improvement there. Yeah. Massive improvement. Really appreciate that. 2 degrees in both. Sorry. Okay. Anyhow, well, that's how that goes. The Christian Potter Memorial, popcorn maker, whatever you want to say, and I'll obviously have more takes. I'm kind of saving some of the conversation for when we get into fan interaction, and of course the call-in from Mr. Mad Martin, of course, Dave Martin. The memorial goes to Ponder Memorial. I don't know. I mean, it could be the interior line, maybe a combination of the interior line and Sam Darnold. It's just a big letdown, like big freaking letdown. Then, just at least he threw a touchdown pass. Yay, he didn't throw one against Detroit. What was it, like 19 consecutive series or something with no touchdowns? It's freaking stupid. So that's kind of where we are with that one. It ain't going to Cam Akers, that's for sure. Cam Akers ain't getting any, Ponder Memorials. Jones was mediocre. I think we can do better, honestly. As good as he is, and he's a professional and everything, he's kind of mediocre. Keep Cam Akers this time, so you don't have to trade a late draft pick for him. Just keep him. Just keep Cam Akers. He's still pretty young. You never know, and he's probably not a starter, but I think he's a really good backup, like a really good backup running back. I'm a big fan. I'm a huge fan of Cam Akers. He will turn 26 on June 22nd, so he'll be 26 all year next year. He's pretty young still, and he's good, and and he doesn't have to carry, the ball 25 times a game. Not that most guys do anyway, but just saying, he's not going to be a bell cow out there. So that's just a fact. Keep him, dang it. Keep Cam Akers. Keep Cam Akers. Yes. We'll see how that turns out. At the end of the day, well, there it is. There's my conversation for that. We're going to take a quick break and look around the league, and then, of course, the fan interaction segment in segment 3. And we are back here on segment number 2. Maybe this will be a little more positive than what you heard on the first segment. But do you blame me? I'm frustrated. I'm sad. It's disheartening. It sucks. It is what it is. The playoffs are all set, of course. See, it's not like, well, it's freaking Tuesday morning, so the playoffs better be set by now. I don't like this. I'm going to be honest. I don't like this super wild card weekend. Why can't it just be done by Sunday? Why can't it just be over on Sunday? I hate this. So you have to wait an extra day. Come on. But, well, congratulations, ABC, on getting a lot more money. So good for you. The first playoff game, which one was it? Yeah, it was Houston, right? It was the Houston Texans. There was some junk. Let's be honest. There were some junk playoff games. Unfortunately, ours was a junk playoff game, too. 14-3 team ends up being junk. Ugh. It should have been the 10-7 team that was junk. It should be the opposite score. But no, not here. Nope, not when it's our team. Nope. Can't do that. Saturday afternoon, AFC stuff. Houston versus the Chargers, who didn't show up to play. Chargers had a better record. Chargers were pretty good. They have a coach that's been to the Super Bowl, been to the conference final, He's been awesome. Conference finals two times. Well, 3 total, but one of them he went to the Super Bowl. Justin Herbert was awful. So that's another situation. Awful. Justin Herbert was awful. It's like the moment was too big. So maybe Justin Herbert is Darnold. I don't know. 4 interceptions. Awful game. 1 touchdown pass. C.J. Stroud, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 282 yards. Pretty efficient. Obviously the interception hurt his quarterback rating down to only 90. But Herbert's was just below 41. Pathetic. Joe Mixon, he did have a fumble, but he also got in the end zone in 106 yards and 25 carries. Bell cow kind of day. Nico Collins with 7 catches, 122 yards, and a touchdown. Other than that, Lad McConkey, not Conley. Sorry, I'm around Conleys too much lately, especially with the Timberwolves. So there's 2 Conleys of the Timberwolves, even though they're spelled differently. Connolly and Conley. Okay, sorry. Lad Conkey with 9 catches and 197 yards for the Chargers, including an 86-yard scamper. Catch and scamper, that type of deal. Great play, but that was the only play the Chargers had to celebrate in the entire game. What the heck? Ugh. Well, other than, I guess, it's pathetic. Really frustrating. A couple of field goals early on. With them up 6-0. Chargers led 6-0 after the first quarter. After that, it was all Houston. Nico Collins and all them. Joe Mixon, yeah. It was all Houston. Yep. Oh, man. Absolute butt kicking. Fairborn made all 3 of his field goals for the Houston Texans. Cameron Dicker made both of his. Yeah, it was pretty rough. Houston had 2 guys with a sack and a half. Good for them. Mario Edwards Jr. with 1.5. Will Anderson Jr. with 1.5. So they apparently shared one along the way. So good overall game by those guys for Houston. Khalil Mack, remember him, 2 sacks for the Chargers. But, yeah, I don't know. Disappointing overall to see the Chargers basically not show up at all. Another one of those games where you have the better record, but you don't win your division because it's frickin' Kansas City. Just like us, it's frickin' Detroit. And that's just how that goes, unfortunately. Chargers get, lambasted 32-12 in a very boring football game. Honestly, it was boring. It was boring. It was crap. And we'll move on. Speaking of boring and crap, Pittsburgh wasn't even competitive. Like, the score looks kind of close, but didn't I have them losing by 10 anyway? Like, oh, that's too, like, the line is 9. Oh, that's too much. Bet the under on that one. Or take, pick Pittsburgh to cover. Yeah, sure they're going to cover. They're going to cover nothing. Lamar Jackson looking like an MVP. Not the greatest numbers of all time, but insanely efficient. 175 yards, 2 touchdowns, 16 of 21. Also ran for 81. Sorry, a sudden sneeze came up, but luckily I was able to dump that. Oof. Derrick Henry, 186 yards, just bell cow day. Busting through that Pittsburgh defense. No steel curtain there, as the Baltimore Ravens ran for almost 300 yards. In fact, I think they did. Pretty lame on Pittsburgh's side. Najee Harris, well, they only had 6 rushes because they were playing from behind the whole game, so not really worth mentioning. Russell Wilson was efficient for the most part. He actually was. 20 of 29, 270, 2 touchdowns. Quarterback rating of 121.3, but I don't know. It is what it is. Pickens, I always think of the other Pickens, and I thought he was with Pittsburgh, wasn't he, before? But now he's with Philly, staying in Pennsylvania. 5 catches, 81 yards, and a touchdown for him. Van Jefferson with also a touchdown and 37 yards. Total for Pittsburgh Steelers land. Alex Highsmith got the 1 sack for Pittsburgh. 2 sacks for that guy. Namandi Madabuk. 2 sacks for him. Odef away. Yep, 1 sack. These are for Baltimore. Michael Pierce. Well, that's a little bit easier. Thank you. 4 sacks for Baltimore, and you think, that's pretty good. Yeah, the Rams had 9. Yeah, they had 9 sacks on the Vikings, on Sam Darnold. Pretty bad. It's freaking pathetic. Could use a little help in the front there. Baltimore wins comfortably and moves on. Remember back in the day, it used to be the opposite, like a really young Joe Flacco, like rookie, whatever. They'd bump into them in the conference final, and Pittsburgh beat them pretty bad. Pittsburgh would go to the Super Bowl, and it happened a couple times. Pittsburgh went to the Super Bowl, beat Arizona by a little bit. That was depressing. And then the next time they beat Baltimore again, went to the Super Bowl and got beat by the Packers in a pretty big stunner there. And Baltimore finally broke through years later in 2012. Yep, and won it all with Joe Flacco. We'll see if they can finally get one with Lamar Jackson. They have a very tough matchup coming up in the second round. We'll talk about that very shortly. Philadelphia, Green Bay Packers. It's what it is. Philadelphia, again, it's one of those games. Philadelphia is just kind of screwing around and kept the Packers in there too much. Jordan Love, once again, another guy where clearly the moment is too big for him. Like, just Mr. Turnover. He was a mess out there. Anytime you thought the Packers had a chance, because they were still in the game for what felt like forever, and then he'd throw an interception again. It's like, come on, man, you suck. They're paying him a fortune, you know that? Because he looked like he might be some kind of a superstar. But to me, this is my thought process on Jordan Love. Imagine the combination of Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. It's like Fran Tarkenton and Fran Tarkenton. You get 2 Fran Tarkentons, right? See, Jordan Love is pretty good, right? He's pretty good. But then sometimes he's not. It's like Fran Tarkenton to who? To Tommy Kramer. Tommy Kramer was pretty good, but he did get hurt a lot, especially later on. And he just wasn't as good. You know what I mean? He was good, but not as good. That's Jordan Love. He's good, but not as good. And then he has games like this, where, yes, Kramer did have some games where he threw some interceptions. Just in case TK9 is listening to this podcast, it is absolutely no disrespect. Fran Tarkenton was what he was. He's an all-time quarterback for the Vikings. Hopefully McCarthy can have something to say about that. I hope so. I hope J.J. McCarthy ends up becoming the best quarterback in Viking history. I hope so. Because I don't think it's Darnold. I mean, I think Darnold is like a Kramer maybe. Not bad, but not going to win a Super Bowl. Kramer didn't win a Super Bowl. In fact, he wasn't even the quarterback when they went on that run in '87. It was Wade Wilson, of all people, which is always the weirdest thing ever. Jacobs was respectable in the game, but not great. I mean, it's just, and they were playing from behind. It kind of is what it is. The Packers got a bit cheap as well, that throwing Barkley to the ground after the play was already dead. He was like down, whatever. Play was dead. They threw him to the ground, and that was just stupid. So undisciplined. And of course, LaFleur was yelling at the 93 defensive tackle on the sideline, like, "Come on, like, what's wrong with you, idiot? You idiot! What is wrong with you?" Basically, and the guy wouldn't even look at him. So that's really cute. Stupid. Was it Kenny Clark? Was it that guy? I think it might have been Kenny Clark, 97. It might have been him. Looks like him. I may be getting, I don't know. It's maybe not 93. It was bad though. It's stupid. Stupid play. Yeah. Stupid penalty. Like, what are you doing? That's a 15-yard penalty, It's not like it's just like a little 5-yarder, replay second down. No. It's a 15-yarder, so that was really dumb. Barkley was good, not spectacular, very good. In fact, almost 5 yards a carry for 119, so it's nothing to really complain about. Hurts wasn't dominant, but he really hasn't been since that Super Bowl season, where they unfortunately lost by the narrowest margin to the stupid Chiefs. But anyhow, 21 attempts, 13 completions, 31 yards, 2 touchdowns. Eagles win in a game that they should have had a bigger margin, 22-10, but whatever. They got the job done. So right after that game, you knew right away, no matter what happens, the Eagles are in the next round, and, it's whoever's and then it all hinged on the Tampa-Washington game. Tampa wins, then the winner of Minnesota-LA has to go to Detroit. Washington wins, the winner of Minnesota-LA goes to Philadelphia. Well, Washington won in a pretty epic back-and-forth battle. Baker Mayfield was pretty good. But Jaden Daniels was pretty damn good, too. Fun game. Very fun game to watch. Mayfield only attempted 18 passes, but completed 15 of them. Quarterback rating was 146.5 with 2 touchdowns. Jaden Daniels, 35 attempts, 24 completions, 268, 2 touchdowns overall. Daniels, again, showing mobility when he needed to, not like having to run every 10 seconds. So that was cool. 36 yards for the most part there. Terry McLaurin, one of my favorite receivers, with 7 catches and 89 yards and a touchdown. Dayami Brown, 5 catches, 89 yards and a touchdown. Gonzalez made the kick he needed to, but gosh, that was bad. Oh, it wasn't that far, wasn't it? Wasn't it only like 37 yards? And the thing was sliced, like royally sliced. Like, oh no. And then, yep, it doinked, but it was on the inside of the upright when it doinked. So very lucky, but we'll take it. I was cheering for Washington. I like the Commanders. Jaden Daniels and all them. I like the Commanders a lot. Reminded us that he's a strong Christian at the end of the game, and that was awesome as well. Thank you. God bless you, Jaden Daniels. And Zane Gonzalez, jeez, scaring the heck out of everybody. That would have been embarrassing. And it's the last thing you need. Yeah, you missed that kick after the Commanders got to the red zone, played the clock down to just a couple seconds left to set up the walk-off win, and Gonzalez were to slice it and they were to hit the upright head on. Oh boy, Tampa probably wins in OT, but I guess you never know. Maybe Washington drives down the field and gets it done. But they'd have to stop him. I know the rules are different in the postseason. It's kind of weird. Like, even if you score a touchdown, the game isn't over. The other team still has a chance to tie it up and force it into sudden death. But, yeah, still, they have to score a touchdown to go to sudden death. That's the difference. Otherwise, they do anything less than score a touchdown, it's over. So it's still a ton of pressure on the team that has been scored on already. So there is that. I would not feel super confident necessarily, even after scoring a touchdown on the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Like, if the 49ers were able to do that, you still got frickin' Mahomes. Ugh. Every time you think you got him stopped, there's an 11-yard completion, and it's just, you're just mind-boggled with frustration. Just make the tackle. Just get the hand in there, just for 1 millisecond. Just nick it away. Nope. And it's completions to that disgusting tight end who loves attention. Let's just leave him where he is. The Washington Commanders win, and they will head to Detroit, where it'll be very tough. But if they can win it, that'd be insanely impressive. So we're all set for the second round. Let's do the predictions quickly. Kansas City, Houston. Unfortunately, we have a pretty good idea where that's going to go. But Houston did play really well against LA, so maybe it'll be closer than we think. Unfortunately, I do think the bleeping Chefs will be hosting the AFC Championship game again. I can't wait for that. Ugh. Hopefully Houston can pull off a crazy upset, and that would be great if they did. Then we'll finally have somebody new, not only getting to the Super Bowl, but winning it. Yep. Obviously, the Chiefs having, Arrowhead as the road to the Super Bowl is a huge problem for every team in the AFC. It's a huge problem. Once upon a time, it was Burrowhead when Cincinnati got it done, but then, of course, that stupid attention-seeking tight end let us all know how ignorant we all are. And shut up. Just play the game and shut your mouth. Know your role and shut your mouth. That's seriously now. Know your role and shut your mouth. You're the one talking all this stuff. Yeah, just who cares? Really, who cares? As for that, I think the Chiefs do win, unfortunately. Something along the likes of 28-24, some stupid close game where the Chiefs pull away. Baltimore, Buffalo, every single year there's a game like this in the division championship, or in the divisional round, where not only is it the team that wins this game goes to the Super Bowl, but probably wins it. Yeah. Baltimore, Buffalo. That's the one. It's the game of the week. It's the game possibly of the entire postseason here. The Super Bowl before it's the Super Bowl. Remember back in '99, it was Baltimore, Tennessee. And then, nope, that was not '99. That was 2000. Baltimore, Tennessee. The Titans were the defending AFC champs. Baltimore scored a touchdown. Brian Billick turned around, looked at the crowd that had been bleep talking him the whole day and said, F you, with a thumbs up. And you could read his lips pretty clearly. Yep. It was kind of funny. Yeah, bleep you. You've been talking all this stuff to me all day. And Baltimore went on and won the Super Bowl comfortably over the New York Giants after comfortably beating a certain purple team in the NFC title game. Yeah, it was a pretty comfortable win. Yeah. You don't need any reminders of what happened there, really, do you? I do think it's Buffalo, but I would not be surprised one bit if it's Baltimore. It's going to be epically close. It's going to be the game of the year. This is the Super Bowl for me in a lot of ways. But I will stick with the current prediction that I had, the original prediction for now. As much as I like Baltimore, I really do. I'd be very happy to see either one of these teams win the whole thing. Either one of them. In fact, I'd be thrilled to see either one of these teams win the whole thing. And absolutely thrilled to see either one of them knock the Chiefs out if Houston's unable to pull off a crazy upset. Or it wouldn't be as crazy if Baltimore or Buffalo did, because these teams are very familiar with the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. So it's time for one of them to break through and get it done. My belief is it is the Buffalo Bills. They feel like the team of destiny this year. It's going to be a very close matchup, very, very close game, 34-31 Buffalo is my guess. And then Buffalo will beat the Chiefs in the AFC title game in an insanely close battle that'll be grueling, it'll be tough, something along the likes of 27-24. But the Buffalo Bills go to their fifth Super Bowl. Otherwise, we go back to the NFC, Detroit and Washington. I love the Reds, the Commanders, love what they do. It'd be really cool to see them pull off an upset. It really would. But hey, if Kansas City's in the Super Bowl, Detroit better be there to get it done. Or Philly to go back and get some revenge and finally get it. Maybe they will. Maybe they will. It still could very much happen, honestly. A Philly-Washington conference final would be pretty cool, actually. It'd be kind of fun to watch. We'll see. It might happen. But for right now, I'm sticking with Detroit, getting the job done. They look like the team of destiny in the NFC. I don't think there's any doubt about it. They very well might beat Buffalo in the Super Bowl, or Kansas City, or Baltimore. Detroit could be the world champions this year. Very possible. They're the best Detroit team since the 1950s, and there's no doubt about it. When they were NFL champions, and when being an NFL champion meant you really were the NFL champion. It wasn't like NFC. It was the NFL. You were the world champions. It was just played differently. That's all. Or it was bracketed differently, whatever. And it wasn't called the Super Bowl yet. It was just called the NFL championship game. Kind of like in college, it became the BCS championship game. So, anyhow, Detroit wins, unfortunately, over Washington. 40. Will they score 40 against that Washington D? Nah, they're not going to score 40. 30, 35. 35 to like 28. It's going to be a fairly close game. Washington will be a threat. Maybe they'll make it interesting, but I think Detroit goes to the NFC title game. And it'll be Ford Field hosting the NFC Championship game for the first time ever. Los Angeles and Philadelphia. I think the Eagles take care of business. I think the Rams had their win against a team that did not match up well against them. But I think Philly's better, period. Philadelphia's better. Philadelphia Eagles get the job done. Final score, 28 to 21. 28 to 21. The Philadelphia Eagles get the job done. Detroit, Philly, NFC Championship. Pretty epic stuff. Well, it's 1 versus 2, and it's going to be 1 versus 2 on the other side. I know it's kind of lame and predictable, and it probably won't be that, but just because you know how football is. Funny stuff happens. Like Baltimore could easily knock out Buffalo. Who knows? Maybe the Rams pull off a crazy upset, but I kind of think the two home teams get it done in the NFC. I'm kind of strong on that. I'd love to see Houston knock off Kansas City, but I doubt it. I just doubt it. Sticking with my Detroit and Buffalo Super Bowl, Detroit-Buffalo Super Bowl with the Buffalo Bills getting the job done. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I think I got who? Yep. So I did pick the Rams, didn't I? But by only 3. I just had a crappy feeling. I picked the Rams, and the one I was wrong about was the Los Angeles Chargers. They just didn't show up to play. I was right about Baltimore, Buffalo, Detroit, Washington. I'm proud of that one. And the Rams. I'm not happy being right about the Rams. I wanted the Vikings to prove me wrong, like I'm just a dumb doubter, but they didn't. Detroit wins the Super Bowl, though. In my no, not Detroit. Buffalo wins the Super Bowl, and if it is Kansas City, it's going to be Detroit. But we'll see. Maybe it is just the frickin' Chiefs again, and I do not want to see the Michael Jordan 3 thing. No thanks. I really don't. Go away. Go away, Kansas City. Seriously, go away. So that, we'll take a quick break and come back for fan interaction.
Greetings, Joey. I'm finally making that call in this season. In some respects, what a season it was. A season that, to be honest, the expectations were pretty low. If we'd have won 9 games and sneaked into the playoffs, that would have been a result after the half a decade plus of Cousins. And so, it was a season where, as I said, we had low expectations, and we got to week 17, and I think many of us believed that finally, perhaps, this team could break through that glass ceiling and finally go to a place no other Vikings team had gone to and secured a Lombardi. And week 18 came, and they performed fairly poorly. Darnold reverted to what he was. And that faith and hope disappeared rather quickly. Because anyway, then you could see this team perhaps making a deep run was that everything would have to be perfectly executed. And unfortunately last night was very much an embarrassment on many levels. The run game was always a concern this year. Jones, injury prone, and not a lot of depth behind him. Surprisingly, the defence was better than I expected, especially at the corner position. And all credit to Flores for a pretty impressive season. I doubt he'll get a head coaching job. As regards the offence, infuriating at times, but if this team was to have progressed, every single facet of it would have had to have been firing on all cylinders. KOC was outcoached last night. He was outcoached last week. That's clearly obvious. And Darnold has cost himself generational money in a new contract. what it highlights is it's a team that's capable of going so far, but yet again, not far enough. But we now enter the JJ McCarthy era, and they've got 70 million plus in cap space, where they've got to start by improving that interior offensive line. Because 9 sacks last night was absolutely atrocious. And especially with the kind of offense that KOC wants to play, having these long developing plays so that the wide receivers can get open. Well, if you've got barely any time to execute that, then that's not going to work. So, luckily, with all that cash, they can go out and hopefully fix the interior line, improve the corner positions, and improve the team generally. And launch into the future. The window's open, certainly. I'm optimistic. Just have to accept that game last night was atrocious. It reminded me in some respects of the 41 donut at some stages, where we couldn't get anything going and we couldn't stop them. But that's the nature of this team. They build you up and kick the ladder underneath your feet. Anyway, Joey, I would say a lot more, but I'm still full of this flu that's going around. So, Happy New Year, my friend. Happy New Year to all the people that listen to the show. And Skull brothers and sisters.
And I thank you so much for that call-in. Dave Martin, Mad Martin, out of Northern Scotland. Isn't he great? So great to hear from Dave Martin. And yeah, excuse me, I could tell your voice was a little bit different. Yeah, unfortunately, yep. I'm going through the same thing all the way here in the United States in Minnesota. So this is no joke. It's like worldwide kind of thing. What the heck? So it's like, people be like, it's COVID. I don't know. It's what it is, and it's not fun. But we're here, we're alive, and we're rolling one way or another. And yes, great thoughts. And yep, like I think too as well. Like you said, we're entering the JJ McCarthy era. Yep, and I think again, this is good that we got our answer. We don't have to go into the offseason going, oh boy, what should we do? 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 Well, I think the Vikings have a pretty good idea, because if they're thinking about it at this stage, they're probably not qualified for their position, you know. But far be it for me to say, but they probably aren't qualified for their position to run a football team. If you're like, I don't know. I mean, I would hope that their plan is to, stick to the plan. JJ McCarthy, he's the guy. So that's what I'm hoping for. And it should be. JJ McCarthy has that winning it factor, no doubt about it. And yeah, to be sacked 9 times, utterly ridiculous. For the team to completely go down the toilet in the last 2 games, it's weird. It sucks, but it's kind of like, we're kind of accustomed to it here as Viking fans, whether we're in Minnesota or, you know, across the pond there in northern Scotland. So yes, insanely frustrating, to say the least, laddie. Yep, to say the least. Excuse me. Again, the good part is, like, we have our answer. We don't have to go through the whole terrible situation of re-signing a guy, and then he comes back and he's not the same. Like, say, the Cunninghams and the others, you know, what was it called? Like Matt Castle signing with the Chiefs for the big bucks at the time. That was insanely frustrating, I'm sure. Oh boy, I better look at my right eye here in a little bit. So that's becoming an issue too. So hope you're not going through that also. But I don't know, it's a big mess. But anyhow, yeah, I mean, again, it's just, you know, it's like, all right, is the devastation, like, I remember how you were talking about the devastation we're accustomed to. I remember it was a few weeks back, we were talking about that on, you know, obviously on X, like how, yeah, it's like, it's something's going to happen. And yeah, it happened pretty early. So in a way, the pain is less. Instead of getting to the NFC title game, like, oh my God, here we go, we're at the NFC Championship game, and then Detroit or Philadelphia just obliterate us, and it's highly depressing, to say the least. It's just like, or you get to the Super Bowl and get heartbroken by the Chiefs, you know, that would suck. it'd be nice to get to a Super Bowl. That's what I know a lot of people want to do. But you get to the Super Bowl, we got to win. You don't want to get there and be the team that loses. Like, look at Cincinnati. Look at Cincinnati. You know, like you want to believe Joe Burrow's going to get a ring, but is he? Like, what a crappy feeling. You were so close. Like, they absolutely had that game. And then it just didn't happen, at the end. And they couldn't protect Joe Burrow. And I don't know. That's what we got to do here in Minnesota is protect J.J. McCarthy. And, of course, because we couldn't protect Sam Darnold enough. So we got to improve that offensive line. Even more reason to stay off this, this big contract with Sam Darnold, because that money could go towards, free agency. Obviously, you want draft picks as well in the offensive line. You want probably want to draft a running back somewhere in there. Like you can get a good running back in the mid rounds. You absolutely can. You probably don't want to go first round. Absolutely, almost certainly not. Probably going cornerback or guard or something, or center again. I don't know. That could be risky. Picking a center super high. But then again, it won't be that high right now. What are we, like the 27th, 28th pick or something? Something like that. We'll see how this all turns out in the mock drafts. But we're definitely not going to be as high as we would have been had we continued a playoff run. So there's that as well. We lost in the first frickin' round. So teams like Philadelphia and all them are going to pick after the Vikings. Teams like the Rams, I believe, are going to pick after the Vikings. So I think that's how it works, isn't it? So even though they had an inferior record by 4 whole frickin' games. 4 frickin' games. That's a lot in football. That's a ton. That's a month of football difference. Did you realize how crazy that is when you put that into perspective? So, obviously, an absolutely fantastic call-in. Really appreciate you so much, and we'll hear from you a lot more on X coming up here in a second. First, though, we're going to go to... This is another option that I should have brought up in the past. If you don't want to be, if you're just not a social media person, you can simply email paladinolive@yahoo.com, paladinolive@yahoo.com. Because, I remember I was shouting out to Malcolm McSween out of California. Remember that? And I was like, where is he? Where's Malcolm? It's been a really long time, and blah, blah, blah. Well, it's because Malcolm has, as you'll hear in this email, that he has... he just doesn't want to be on social media anymore, at least not right now, maybe not ever. In a lot of ways, it's a huge relief. But, the podcasting, I kind of can't, even though I'd like to, in so many ways. But, obviously, people like Malcolm are the ones, salt of the earth people that you meet over the course of time. And you've kept up with the team all these years and kept up with the podcast. It just means so much. So here's Malcolm. So this is another option for you out there if you're not big on the social media thing. You're just not. You don't want to use Twitter or X or whatever. You don't want to use... Facebook or Instagram or anything like that, and definitely not Blue Sky. Purple Mafia is not going to get a Blue Sky. I just don't feel the need. I just don't. Anyhow, email. Yes, paladinolive@yahoo.com, paladinolive@yahoo.com. Malcolm says, hey, Joey, just want to let you know that I still download and listen to every episode. I have been off social media the past couple of years. Yeah, I was like, what happened? And I do miss interacting with Purple Mafia fans. Home base for me is Oxnard, California. For the past 4 years. Yes, home of the Dallas Cowboys training camp. And then he does the barfing emoji. As for the Vikings, I do believe they are set up well for the future. I think we will be in the playoffs mix for quite some time with this coach and staff. Please keep Brian Flores, parentheses. Hope all is well. Skol, Malcolm. Yep. For the most part, all is okay. I'm just not feeling my best at the moment. Other NFL knows Mike Vrabel is the head coach of the Patriots. So we'll see. Obviously, it's it's probably a better fit than the guy they had last year. Not saying that Jared Mayo was necessarily bad. It just didn't work out, unfortunately. Vrabel did pretty good at Tennessee, and Vrabel is a former New England Patriot with rings. So there's that. Unfortunately, he is not an offensive coach. But then again, neither was Bill Belichick, and he coached the greatest quarterback ever. So... we'll see if Vrabel can get it done. We'll see. He is the Patriots head coach. Mike McCarthy is on his way out of Dallas. It's a mutual parting of ways type of thing, and I think it's the right thing to do. Not just, it's mostly for Mike McCarthy because, Dallas sucks. It's just a mess. It would suck to coach the Dallas Cowboys. It's a circus. And now they're talking about possibly Deion Sanders. I don't know, man. You know what? Fine. It's like they deserve each other. Deion Sanders is, I don't know. he might be a good coach, but I think he's kind of a clown. I think he likes attention, and I guess so does Jerry Jones. You know what I mean? I guess they're meant for each other, but we all know how things like that usually end. Not well. So there's that. But no, I mean, at the end of the day, sorry, I'm like distracting myself here. I appreciate you very much, Malcolm, and it means a lot. And I hope you're doing well. Also, hope you're not going through any ailments or anything. Like, cause yeah, it's been weird ever since that stupid fog. Like my wife got pretty sick and was getting overworked and all that. Yeah, and then it's like, oh, I'm not getting sick. Praise the Lord, I'm okay. And then all of a sudden Saturday, I start getting this sore throat at work. Like, what the heck, you know? And then I get like red eyes last night. Like, what is going on with mucus? Yeah, what is this? So it's really annoying, but it feels better than last night, but still annoying when you're like, say, you're even just doing a show, you start kind of, you know, twitching your eyes, and then all of a sudden there's clearly something in the way. It's like, oh no. Yeah, you know what it is, you know, so you gotta go get it out of there ASAP and all that. Wash your hands first, yep, before you put your fingers in your eyes or anything close to that. But anyhow, yes, really appreciate it, Malcolm. Yeah, keep doing that if you can. Even if it's like a show by show email, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome, Malcolm. I'd love to hear from you. And you can still do what do they call those audio submissions? You're still more than welcome to do that. See, you don't have to be on social media to do audio submissions. Just simply pick up your smart device. Every smart device on the planet has a free voice recording app. Just open it up and, yeah, press record, start talking. When you're done, hit stop and save it and then share it or email it to paladinolive@yahoo.com, paladinolive@yahoo.com. I will then convert it into an MP3 file thanks to cloudconvert.com, which is a beautiful website. Really helpful for converting files, be it audio or visual. Yeah, even like, I believe you can convert video, but also, again, just simply pictures. Like, say, like those WebB images, they don't work for, like, say, uploading like a logo for the podcast. It has to be like a JPEG or something similar. So, then again, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. It depends. But JPEG seems to be the most consistent file that works, and that's where that Cloud Convert comes in multiple ways. You know, comes in handy multiple ways. So, thank you, Cloud Convert. That's why I'm giving you a free plug, because you're helping me. So, next, please. Next case, like Michael Savage would say. And I don't even have the right Twitter open. It's Timberwolves Explosion. Seriously now? Seriously? Oh, come on. Gotta get going here. It's getting late. I gotta get to work. Come on now. Come on now. Let's go. Okay, so. Yeah. I think we're getting about there. Yes. Okay, yes. So, there was a fun little, what was it, Friday night? I don't even remember. Jan 7th. That's a while ago. They were kind of, yeah, it was a playoff preview. Tuesday? That was that long ago? Yeah, I suppose, because it was playoff preview. We knew we were going to play the Rams, so it was some kind of a, playoff preview show for Score North, Purple Daily, whatever. And they did it in the nighttime at Pedrog's. It's a pretty nice brewery, actually. And I tweeted out an image to Judd Zulgad, Declan Goff, and, of course, Phil Mackey. I believe Judd Zulgad is the main guy that brought Pedrog's into Score North. And I tweeted out an image that I was having their Northeast Porter, and then Judd Zulgad says, great to see, enjoy. So, yeah, but I was saying it's really good. So, yeah, free plug, I guess, for Pedrog's. There I go, giving out free plugs again. Please be a sponsor of Pedrog's. If I'm pronouncing it correctly, it's an Irish brewery in Northeast Minneapolis. So, really good stuff. They have some other stuff that is maybe not on the shelves yet that I really want to try. It's called an English IPA. I want to try that. Otherwise, I had that porter. Delicious. Mad Martin, let's get going. Not a good opening quarter. That was that first quarter. I was like, yeah, they're not going to win, are they? You could just feel it. I just put garbage with a garbage can. Yeah, Mad Martin says, not a good opening quarter. I'm all wondering why I'm still up. Yeah, because remember where Mad Martin is. He is in Northern Scotland. You know how many hours ahead they are? Like 6, 7, right? So, yeah, I feel bad for that guy. Man, that must have sucked. But yep, that's when. So the call was actually very recent. That's why he was already saying last night. So I really appreciate that. It came to me at 4 a.m. ish, which again he did not send that at 4 a.m. He said his time. He sent that at like probably 9:10 ish. That's my guess. Maybe 11 ish. So yeah, it's not like he's sending me stuff at 4 a.m. It's just because of the the time zone difference. Continuing, Mad Martin says, and 40 minutes later, it's still garbage. At least they don't need to re-sign Darnold. Yep. If he continues in this vein, they can utilize that cap money on that bleeping crap O-line. Yep. See? Great minds think alike. Man, that's what they need to do. Yep. Did I mention we need some guards? Mad Martin continues, says, I might switch to the Australian Open. I don't blame you for that one iota. Is there a response to that one? It is from himself. What a bleeping horrible way for the season to end 2 weeks ago, when many of us hoped this team would make a deep run, and what and what we're getting is a blowout in the first playoff game. Same old shit. Yeah. Ugh. Isn't that depressing? Isn't it though? It's 14-win season and you can't even get out of the first round, and the Rams aren't that good. And like I said, way back in '92, I mean, this is eons ago now for some people listening. Some of us, Mad Martin, Dave Hickey, Mark Carlson, we all remember. I mean, we can remember the '80s, Joe Montana, and all those guys. But I wasn't a full-time Viking fan until '92. Unfortunately, I was a very late bloomer. I was 13 already. Can you believe that crap? 13. It's pretty old. Yep, but I was more of a baseball guy, and then hockey, and then basketball, and then football. I just took forever. I regretted it, but then I had no turning back after that. Once you're in, for the most part. Every time I thought I was going to renounce the NFL, like, screw this crap, we're never going to win anything, I ended up being back in like 5 minutes. So, next, Dave Hickey out of Iowa says, I would almost rather have them play from behind than ahead, because you and I both know that a 20-point lead is not safe with this team, even in the fourth quarter. Yeah, remember a 28-point lead, and the Packers almost beat us way back in week 4? Oh, it's disgusting. I mean, that was bull crap. Fumbling like the opening kickoff or something. It felt like the Giants in that 41 donut game that Dave Martin brought up as well in the call. Next, from Dave Hickey, I definitely want to add Joe Buck to the stupid bleep announcers list. That is a Vikings hater. Yeah, Chris Collinsworth and yeah, P.S. Collinsworth number 1. I agree with that. Buck number 2, and then 3, you tell me. Tom Brady. No, a lot of people don't like him. I don't know, that's why everybody's probably like, oh, Mahomes is the GOAT, Mahomes. Yeah, shut up. He's not the GOAT. He isn't there yet. Brady won 7 Super Bowls. 7. Montana won 4. What, I mean, come on. Montana lost 0 Super Bowls. You know that? Mahomes lost the Super Bowl to, who was that? Who's that guy again? Who did Mahomes lose the Super Bowl to? Tom Brady. Who did Mahomes lose the AFC title game to? Tom Brady. I mean, sorry, you can't take that off the, you can't erase that from history for all the Mahomes GOAT fans. You just can't do that. So anyhow, Collinsworth, yes, I agree. I'm not a fan. Buck, I don't really dislike him like I used to. But I'm sure I understand. I understand the frustration. I don't know. I'll be honest. A lot of times I have the sound off in these games. Not because I hate the announcers, but because, like, I don't know. I like listening to PA and Bursich. And, man, Bursich. I think Bursich is my favorite analyst of all time. All time. Not only because I think he's pretty good, but I love the emotion. Like, come on! Like when they didn't give the Vikings the ball on that scoop and score. That was some complete crap. When they didn't give us the touchdown or anything. So I have turned the sound off a lot and go to iHeart or whatever with the smart device. Yes, it's not completely in sync, but it's pretty close, surprisingly. And yeah, it's actually surprisingly close. So it's like close enough that it's not too annoying. So I'll be honest on that. Yeah. But when I listen to Brady, I don't really dislike him. I understand he's not the best. No, who's the guy who's better? Like the guy from, is it Carlson? The guy who used to be the Panthers tight end. Yeah, he's probably the best analyst in TV, yes. Aikman was up there for a while. Tony Romo, so they got 2 Cowboy quarterbacks up there over the years. Romo, Yeah, he's probably, he's got a shelf life as well, as good as he is. Like the Deion Sanders, I guess, of of NFL TV. Like Deion Sanders with coaching and all that. Yeah, he's good, but he's got a shelf life because he's nuts. He's nuts. Anyhow, next, let's keep going. I'm going down too many rabbit holes and I'm delaying my own show here. Mad Martin says it was a good year. This is again the X, the Twitter at Purple Mafia Show, which I rudely didn't even mention. It was a good year. The Vikings overachieved all season, and Darnold way outplayed his contract. Yeah, the $10 million, yes, no doubt. He deserves a raise, yes, but probably not from us. Continuing, this will make it easier to move in the direction that many of us were thinking and keep the Super Bowl window open for the next 3 to 4 years, yeah. And hopefully even longer, guys like Van Ginkel and all them. Yeah, see, like moving on from Cousins helped the Vikings create a window. See, that's why you got to, again, stick to the plan. Stick to the process, What did they used to say in Philadelphia? I forgot, but it was like something about that, like stick to the process, something along those lines. Philadelphia 76ers, when they were terrible for a while, then they got super good. But like Philadelphia team fashion, they were disappointing in the playoffs as well. Next, Rhino, Vikings Uncensored Podcast. Thank Darnold for the 14 wins and wish him the best in his future endeavors. Yep. And I was saying, absolutely, that better be the plan. Yep. And Rhino continues saying, I'm taking McCarthy, the $70 million in cap fix. The $70 million in the cap to fix the offensive line, get a defensive tackle that can rush the passer. Yeah, like a 3 technique. Yep, like a 3 technique. You have the edge rushers, but to get a good 3 technique, which I don't think we've had in forever, at least since I don't even know. Like Tomlinson was a pretty good one for a minute, but then he was like a 1-year wonder. He's gone right away. Okay, continuing. So a 3 technique basically, and a high-end cornerback, and bring back Jones as quarterback too. Yeah, I'm totally cool with everything you mentioned. I like that. Rhino, Vikings Uncensored Podcast. There you go. So let me guess, way more followers. Yeah, of course. Of course. Yep. It's a good show, though. Yep. And I was saying JJ. Yeah, this is why he responded. Yep. I was saying JJ McCarthy. That is your quarterback in 2025, God willing. No more messing around with number 14's free agency. And that was all the responses. So that's what led to that conversation. Thank you, Rhino. That's it. Okay, so that's it for X. I know there's some Facebook, though. I do know there is. Mike Dale, Mark Carlson. Absolutely awesome pillars of this show. There is like no... What am I clicking on? Clicking on something that didn't help. Okay. And it's getting later and later. Come on, Joey. Come on. Purple Mafia Show. Well, this is on Facebook, and of course the address doesn't reflect. It's a bunch of jumbled nonsense. Because, I know I had to reset everything because Heil Hitler Facebook had to get rid of my Facebook page because of, I don't know. Because I talk about the Vikings. It's just terrible. How dare you talk about the Vikings? Fascist book, like some people call it. Yes, here we go. Oh, that's a new name. I haven't seen this name before. That's cool. This is in the in-game thread. Brenton Matson lives in Graham, Washington. Okay. Oh, I probably heard you before once or twice. Yeah. If not, nice to meet you, Brenton. Brenton Matson says, well, maybe the Ponder Award needs to be renamed to the Darnold Award. Dude totally forgot how to play the last 2 games. I like that. That's a good one. That is a good one. Mark Carlson, Iowa. What was that? 4 quarters of crap. Worse than a pinball game. Just eating your quarters. Tilt. Yep. Worse than a pinball game. Just eating your quarters. They're like, what was that game called? Ghosts and Goblins? Like it's one thing on the NES. You just keep dying and dying and dying, but you just press reset. Like you own the game already, or you're renting it or something. I had to pay money for that. I'm sure, of course, or unless you downloaded it for free many years later. But yeah, like you die every 10 seconds, or like even 1943 in the arcade, just quarter muncher, and that's kind of what this felt like. Yeah, that's why for one, that's why I don't do the season ticket thing. That's why I don't do the single game ticket thing. And if I go to games in the future, it'd be because I have credentials, and that's it. I am not. And for one, what vantage point do I have to do the podcast in a much better situation? Let's see, especially with the fact that first of all, I'm not feeling too good. Secondly, I hate crowds and I can't deal with it. Thirdly, it takes you like 15 years to get out of there, to get there and then eventually get out of there. Fourthly, the money. What the hell? It's expensive. And yeah, fifthly, you're probably, you're going to see certain things you won't see on TV, but you're gonna see a lot of things at home better. Like a lot of things that you need to see at home better anyway. As fun as it might be with the energy in the building, if I'm going to do a podcast, I think I'd rather just be right here where I am right now. We could call it Purple Mafia Studios or just Jolie's Golden Valley apartment and watch the game that way. Anyhow, why do I keep going down these stupid rabbit holes? Mike Dale from the state of New York says, well, this is going about as bad as anyone could possibly imagine so far. KOC and Flores better make some adjustments on both sides of the ball real quick. And I was saying, it looks like the Lions all over again. Mike Dale responded with, they better respond now with points of their own, or else they'll be left in the dust. Yep, after getting a couple stops, Mike Dale says, stupid, so inconceivably inept. Yep, just insane, right? Like absolutely inept. Mike Dale says if he's not throwing an interception or fumbling, he's holding onto the ball for way too long and getting sacked. At this point, he's holding onto the ball longer than Cousins ever did. See? Yep. And you pay all that money to people like that, and you're cap strapped. See how stupid that is? Yeah. See, that's why you have to go with McCarthy. That's what I was saying. Yep. And when he won't get rid of the ball, it just drives me nuts. We cannot keep him long term. No chance. J.J. McCarthy, baby. And Mike Dale responds with, the way he's played the last 2 weeks, a.k.a. basically the two most important games of the season and his entire bleeping career, fledgling career, he has made Kwesi's decision for him. Yep. Amen, brother. Amen, brother. Yep. Yep, he's made Kwesi's decision for him. Whew, my eyes are tired, but that's okay. We'll get this done. I cried and cried. My eyes are red, yes. No, I'm not quite like that. Post-game thread is here. And I'll check the Instagram just in case. We got some big gems here to rock and roll with. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I have the Instagram right in front of me. I can have it on the computer now, which seems very unorthodox to Instagram people. It's always got to be on the smart device. Yeah, you can have it on the computer, too, though, if you're doing an actual podcast or something and you're using it for that purpose. Can I please just switch over to Purple Mafia? Would that be okay? So on Instagram, it is simply Purple Mafia Show. Just one word. And it's doing the old spin cycle. Oh, I just love that. Next. But just kidding. Unfortunately, the post-game one isn't up there. I should have posted something. There is no comment. Just like Dennis Green would say after the Vikings would choke away a game. No comment, no comment. Or like Randy Moss acts like an idiot, says something stupid. No comment. Okay, thanks. Great leadership, Denny. Everyone acts like Denny's a legend suddenly, right? After after about 10 or so years after all that nonsense, all of a sudden Dennis Green's his legend. He was good offensively, but I don't know. He was lacking in a lot of areas, believe me. Mark Carlson, and he would turn something into something much. He would turn, I don't know. He would make things bigger than they needed to be. Yeah. I don't know. Let's just say I didn't agree with a lot of the stuff he said in the late 90s. Next, Mark Carlson. I have not been on board the past few games. Struggling with health issues. Oh, man. See? Yep. But that doesn't compare. This team, that doesn't compare. This team is terminal on both sides of the ball, and the refs don't help. Yeah, that was terrible, wasn't it? That was not an incomplete pass by Stafford. Yeah, that was a fumble 6. Yep, it was. Either way, a horrendous end to a really cool season, and we've all seen it before. That is why there is Prozac. Skol! And looking forward to a run by the purple AFC team. Baltimore hit it, Ravens. Mark from Iowa, and I would not mind that one bit, honestly, because I'm a huge Lamar Jackson fan. I loved him coming from, the heck is the name of the school? The same school Teddy Bridgewater went to, Louisville, right? I mean, I love Louisville, man. I like Louisville. Well, I used to like, yeah. I generally like Louisville, yes. Basketball and football, even though I'm not a huge college sports person. Most, except for hockey, but we'll move on. Imagine if Louisville had a hockey team. That'd be kind of cool. Mike Dale to wrap things up, as we like to do with Mike Dale when he writes one of these gems. And here we go. I am just so disgusted that no matter who the personnel is on the field or on the sidelines, time and time again. Yep, it could be Bill Belichick. It could be, whatever. It could be Mike Tice. This team predictably comes out flat, uninspired, and unprepared once in the playoffs. Like most of Dennis Green's teams, too, yeah. It's the most Vikings thing, isn't it? The offensive line did Darnold no favors tonight. That said, I think it's obvious that Sam Darnold is seemingly not a starting quarterback in the NFL. Again, he's certainly not the answer for the Vikings. I think it would be ludicrous to give him the franchise tag just so we can hold on to him for another year. Negotiate away if you think he's salvageable for another year, but obviously don't break the bank. That said, make no mistake, J.J. McCarthy and his development is obviously the way forward after what we just witnessed the past 2 weeks. Yep, I think J.J. McCarthy should absolutely be the priority in the offseason, like his continued development and, of course, his health. I'm sorry to interrupt that. Continuing, Mike Dale. As far as the defense goes, it's obvious that the additions of Grenard, Van Ginkel, Cashman, and Gilmore have all been positive, pleasant surprises. That said, even the defensive unit started to unravel or run out of gas the past 2 weeks. Yeah, because the offense didn't do him any favors, right? I'm just hoping that Brian Flores doesn't get poached, leave, or take another head coaching job somewhere else. The interior offensive line needs to be bolstered, as we've been saying for seemingly over a decade now. But I'm delighted with the play of the tackles. Yep, they are franchise, aren't they? Sorry, I try not to cough to death. Thank God for that sideways equal button. Anyhow, delighted with the play of the tackles. O'Neal and Darisaw, who will hopefully come back fully healed, and his usual dominant self. It's not all doom and gloom, as I think this team just needs a winner at the quarterback position, which I think is McCarthy, yeah. It's just frustrating and baffling how a team consistently can fail to perform in the playoffs. Really a crummy way to end a 14-4 season. Yep, ugh. Anyway, Joey, your podcast is always up there with the very upper echelon of Minnesota Vikings podcasts, in my opinion at least, and thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mike Dale. I appreciate that. I really do. Remember the other person had not in my opinion. Like we all suck except for Score North's Purple Daily. Purple Daily's good, but to just write us all off like we're garbage, that was, I don't know, kind of offensive. Like, really, man? And I'm not the easily offended type. What the heck? It almost looked like Stafford and Darnold kissed. They didn't, but it almost looked like it. It was weird. Sorry. Also, sorry I haven't been as active on here as I usually was during the previous seasons, but sometimes life gets in the way. Yep, I understand. Busy with something or whatever, That said, yeah, because you're not obligated. That's the thing, and the fact that you still do it, I appreciate it because you're not obligated. You're not. So I appreciate that so much. Just like technically, I'm not obligated to do the podcast, but I'll still keep doing it. Because I want to. That said, it doesn't mean I don't appreciate all you do, keeping this podcast going and all the prep work you do behind the scenes. Skull, buddy. And thank you so much. Skull back to you, brother. In the state of New York. Not the city, but the state. And I really appreciate you, Mike. And obviously really appreciate Mark Carlson, Gerald Sring, Malcolm McSween. Sorry for my voice here. Of course, Matt Martin, Dave Hickey, Tanae Brown out of New Zealand. Dave Hickey's from Iowa. Malcolm's California, like I said. It's like the southern part of California, but not like L.A. or anything like that. San Diego, it's not like that far down, I don't think. I think it's kind of like the southern half of California, kind of central. So that type of deal. But, yes, I really appreciate all of you. Sam Gupta is also from California. I haven't heard from him for a while either. Hope everything's going okay and you're still listening. Tony Coleman out of South Dakota. Brent Jacobson, who had a had an operation not too long ago, and wishing him the absolute best. Still, the same cool guy he's always been. From Woodbury, Minnesota. Brent Jacobson, just in case he's listening, God bless you, man. Still the same awesome guy. Obviously, a very important operation that took place. So, yeah, we'll just leave it at that unless he wants to talk about it. But, which not too many people do usually. So, and if you know him, you know what it is usually. Because, yeah, he did post about it on his page. So, anyhow, yeah. Just wishing all of you the absolute best. Yes, and we will continue to do the playoff podcasts, which I really enjoy doing. They're fun. And there's really, and unfortunately, if the Vikings are out, as much as I want the Vikings in, there's literally I just feel no pressure doing the show. It's just a big giant second segment basically. And those are kind of fun. And if there's major Viking news, which there probably won't be this time, we're not looking for a head coach GM type of thing like we did a couple of years ago. That's when you're going to get major Viking news during the playoffs. Usually you're going to hire a head coach GM type of thing, like O'Connell and, obviously Kwesi and Novo Mensa. Was that going to be Harbaugh or whatever? Was it Bowles? Ended up Bowles? Not Bowles. I don't remember his name. The Bears GM that finished second here, basically, or he just kind of turned us down, like, nope. And then Kwesi ended up being, I thought, pretty damn good. So I think he did pretty. I think he's pretty good. He's not perfect, but he's pretty good. Pretty good. Obviously, crappy start, yeah, but again, pretty good. So I repeated myself about 50 times. But again, really appreciate everything, and I do think the future is bright. Like, people were crapping all over Phil Mackey last night on the Score North vent line. No, the future is bright. It's just you're not in the mood to hear, like, yay, everything's going to be okay after you get doused after a 14-3 season in the first round by a Rams team that not even that long ago wasn't even in the postseason. They were out. They were on the outside looking in, but to be fair, they've been hotter than red hot, so watch out. I mean, they might beat Philadelphia. Like, our game last night could possibly be a catapult to the NFC title game. It's not going to be a Super Bowl team. I don't think the Rams go to the Super Bowl, and I was kind of doubtful the Vikings would get there after not getting home field. So, yeah, and you're always terrified as all heck, even if the Vikings did get it, that one of the sometime down the way, you might have another Falcon situation again, 98 Falcons. So there's always that fear until they finally frickin' do it and shut us all up at the end of the day and hoist that dang trophy. With that said, have yourself a wonderful week, and we'll be back to discuss the what do they call them, divisional round, and preview the Championship Sunday.